Today's episode is sponsored by Function of Beauty. We have all got goals for 2021, am I right? It's school, career, diet, exercise, all of the usual things. But have you thought about hair goals for 2021? That's right, hair goals. Insert Function of Beauty. Guys, if you don't know, Function of Beauty is the world leader in customizable beauty, offering precise formulations for your hair's specific needs. Here's how it works. First, take a quick but thorough quiz to tell them a little bit about your hair type, whether it's straight, wavy, curly, or coily, and your hair goals, such as lengthening, volumizing, and even oil control. There are over 54 trillion possible formulations, and Function of Beauty has over 50,000 five-star reviews. Never buy off the shelf just to be disappointed ever again. Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice, ADVICE, to take your quiz and save 20% on your first order. That applies to their full range of customized hair, skin, and body products. Again, go to functionofbeauty.com/advice to let them know you heard about them from our show and get 20% off your order. Again, functionofbeauty.com/advice. Today's episode is sponsored by ExpressVPN. There are tons of VPN providers out there. You've probably heard of a couple of them, and some of you may have even used a VPN before. But I like to do my research on my sponsors, and I only recommend brands to my listeners that I actually believe in. I can say with full confidence that ExpressVPN is the best VPN on the market, and here's why. ExpressVPN doesn't log your data. Lots of really cheap or free VPNs make money by selling your data to ad companies, which is outrageous. ExpressVPN developed a technology called Trusted Server that makes it impossible, guys, for their servers to log in and get any of your info. It's about security, guys. It's about safety. Wired, The Verge, and many other tech experts rate ExpressVPN as the #1 VPN in the world. So, guys, protect yourselves with the VPN that I use and trust. Use my link, expressvpn.com/advice, ADVICE, today and get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/advice. Again, visit expressvpn.com/advice to learn more.
Okay, Ash, ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you rapid fire questions you have to answer. You
Okay.
can't think. You can't take any seconds.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Talking or texting?
Texting.
Favorite day of the week?
Monday, because that's when our episode comes out. I panicked.
Favorite holiday?
And I lie. I don't texting. I want talking, but like I'm just
no,
panicking.
it's not lie. It's rapid fire. Ready?
Yeah.
Favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Super strength.
What?
What's your favorite super strength?
What's my what?
What was your What would you want your favorite super strength to be?
What are you saying?
Super strength.
Oh, flying.
You suck at this.
Keep going.
Dawn or dusk?
Dusk.
Celebrity crush?
I don't know his name.
Do you snore?
No.
Are lifeguards attractive?
What?
Are lifeguards attractive?
Yes.
Do you want to live forever?
Yes.
How many pull-ups can you do?
0.
Are reindeers real creatures?
Yes. They're actually just domesticated caribou. I just learned that the other day. And I'm so happy that I could share it with all of you. I'm so happy that I could share that with all of you guys.
I'm dead. I'm tired. That was hard reading
I'm
that fast.
Sweating.
Well, I mean, I feel like you just learned something about yourself.
Yeah, I did. I panic.
Apparently you're a texter.
Apparently I'm a texter.
You're not the best. You're not the best.
Not the best texter.
Ashley is the queen of 0 punctuation.
I've been working on it.
And like straight to the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah.
But in my head, it sounds like, funny. It sounds good, but I need to add all those things to make sure that the receiver understands that I'm, joking.
Ooh, this is a great question. If Voldemort offered you a hug, would you accept it?
Yes.
I think I would too.
I think I would too.
I have such a thing for like the villains.
Yep.
Because I want to help fix them. Like Darth Vader is my favorite character in Star Wars.
She wants to help
fix him because I feel bad for him.
I'm just like, oh, befriend them and they won't kill me.
No, I want to fix him. I want to make him a good guy. He is a good guy in the end. You would know that if you watched any of the Star Wars movies. Okay. Well, I guess we're recording a podcast right now.
Yeah,
so,
pull it together.
This is our second one of the day. So you know what that means, y'all.
It's getting weird.
It's a bumpy ride.
It's also late.
It is late. I'm tired.
And things get weird for me when I'm tired. I get weird.
True dat. Welcome to the year 2021.
It's here.
It's still 2020 for us. So hopefully for you guys, it's going great.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about that.
I'm pumped for this year. We talked a little bit about like resolutions last year, so hopefully I had time to like think those out. Mm-hmm. And I'm really thinking this is going to be our year, guys.
You know, if it's not, I quit.
Well,
I quit.
That's definitely not the type of positivity we want to be putting out, Ash, but I support you.
I'm over it.
I support you. Let's freaking start with tearing it up.
Wait.
What?
I have something I want to share.
Okay, Ash. Jeez. If I did that to you, you would be pouting for 5 minutes.
You have done it to me. I have an email directly to us that I thought was super cute and I wanted to share. The title says, "Thanks from a fellow gal in her 30s. Hi, Ashley and Taryn. My name is Miranda. I'm 31 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I just finished listening to your most recent episode and wanted to tell you something that I really appreciate about you guys. All of your advice is great, but I love that you always remind your young listeners that it's more important to be patient in finding a relationship/marriage than it is to simply find one. I myself was almost 30 on my wedding day, an age much older than my younger self always thought probable. I was actually engaged to someone when I was 20 and ended things because it no longer felt right. And don't get me wrong, even after that, I went through a lot of phases in my early 20s where I became obsessive over finding a partner and wondered what was wrong with me. When I was 25, the fact that I needed to chill out and focus on myself finally clicked. A couple of years later, my now husband entered my life, and he was so worth the wait. Thank you so much for normalizing that love doesn't have to happen by a certain age. Thanks for using your own backgrounds to help others learn lessons and showing how strong both of you ultimately are because you've refused to settle. You're teaching young women and men that accomplishing their non-romantic dreams is the primary step to finding a solid and happy relationship. I wish I had role models like the two of you 10 years ago to help me realize that sooner. But hey, I guess the perk to being in my 30s now is I can pass this advice along just like the two of you are. Wishing you both a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Come on, 2021. We're all counting on you to fix things. Best, Miranda. P.S. I included a picture of me and my husband on our wedding day because it was relevant.
Oh, cute.
And again, we have a veil photograph.
The veil photos.
Whenever they're like completely surrounded by the veil, I swoon. I can't handle it. It's so cute. You look stunning. And I love the teardrop like emerald earrings.
Yeah, she looks
and
gorgeous.
His green emerald tie. I can't. That's gorgeous. Congratulations. And thank you so much for those lovely words. You made our day.
I just love that. And it's
so cute.
It's so funny because like I think both of us definitely thought we'd be, I mean, I was, I'm trying to think how old I was when like towards the end of my last relationship, but it was definitely like my early 20s and I was like ready to get married.
Yeah.
So I was like,
same. I feel like my main ex that I like was like head over heels for, I think I was 21, 22.
But doesn't it feel like it was just yesterday?
Yeah.
Like that's what's crazy to me is my emotions were so big and I don't know. Wow. I'm having like a weird like inception moment.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because as you get older, like your memories are now through the lens of like you growing. Mm-hmm. So even though you might have been super immature and like it wasn't that crazy, because you're now older and you've like grown with that memory. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it feels like real. And I feel like some of the stuff I went through, like I still feel like it's relevant in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense.
I'm trying to follow what you're saying.
Everyone's
like,
listening.
We'll just roll with it. Maybe she'll make a point.
If this is your first time joining us, I'm so sorry. My name's Taryn and I'm weird. Okay. Can I do my turn?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I'm not going to read the title because it gives it away. Hey, Ashley and Taryn, and of course, Mark. Oh, let's have a Mark appreciation moment. We love you, Mark.
We love you, Mark.
I absolutely love your podcast, and it is definitely my favorite. I love you girls so much and would love this story to be featured on your podcast. Before I start, I just want to say I would like to stay anonymous. Your wishes are a command. Are
Done.
you tired?
Yeah.
You just like went into a zone.
I'm very tired, but I am here.
Five
I'm
high
sorry.
fives. One,
2, 3, 4, 5.
Shake it out. Good job. All right.
Done.
She's back. So one day, me and my uncle and my cousin went ice skating. This was my second time going, and I was about 13 or 14 years old. Me and my cousin were ice skating in the middle of the ice rink, and I accidentally fell. I just sat there as I could not get up, and my cousin was just laughing from afar. That's such a like cousin or like sibling thing to do, to just be like, ha, ha, ha.
Like Alicia would 1000% just stare and laugh.
1,000%. Yeah. In this ice rink, there are many good ice skaters and they are really nice people. So as I was sitting there, a boy about a year or two older than me comes up to help me. He grabs me from my hands and pulls me up. As he pulls me up, I accidentally lose my balance and am about to fall again as, you know, the ice is very slippery. I needed to grab onto something really quick so I didn't hurt myself. This is when I accidentally grabbed the boy's butt and squeezed it.
I mean, sure it was an accident?
It could have been worse. You could have grabbed his dangler.
Could have been intentional.
What the frick is a dangler?
I don't know. I'm uncomfortable.
So much.
Why?
I'm embarrassed that I said that. What did I say?
Taryn works with kids and has been doing her full-time job all day. So
God.
I think her head was still...
I don't know. I'm just going to move past that.
Dangler.
This happened so fast that I only realized what I just touched after I fell again onto the ice. My face goes blank and the boy just says, oh. Just then, an employee comes to help me, but just stands there
Sweet.
I know. As the boy pulls me up from the back of my arms and I finally get up.
I was going to say there's like a hook method
you
that
gotta
you have to do from behind.
Technically, it's his fault too.
I know.
I was so embarrassed, but looking back now, I guess it was really funny. Also, I forgot to mention that my cousin saw the whole thing and just carried on laughing. And my uncle saw this too from the boy's back view. So he saw me fully touching his bum. Anyway, I just want to say I love you girls so much. Have a great day. Love, Anonymous.
Wow, that was good.
So freaking good.
I am a hot mess on ice. I am so bad, but I love it. Like I have so much fun, but I'm a mess. I'm exactly in the same boat as you.
I think it's nuts how you can go from standing to flat on your back within like seconds.
Yeah.
I remember. Second. Do you remember that song? Lean with it, rock with it, lean. And you know, there's the like move where you like go to the side like that. So I remember we were ice skating and I was like barely moving because I couldn't do it. But then that song came on, and right when I went to do the snap move, like I barely moved, and I just remember seeing my feet in the air, and then I just like
that's all it takes. That's
you
all
just like die.
Okay, guys, let's get real here. If you don't love your hair, then you have to get rid of your current hair care products. Just like leave them in 2020, okay? It is time to start this new year fresh, and we are offering you guys Function of Beauty instead. If you guys did not know, Function of Beauty is the world leader in customizable hair beauty, offering precise formulations for your hair specific needs. Guys, we have talked about Function of Beauty before. We're really big fans. My hair has specific needs. Your hair has specific needs, and you are able to take a quiz to actually pick exact ingredients that you think your hair needs, whatever your hair goals are, whether it's to lengthen, volumize, or oil control, depending whether your hair is straight, curly, wavy, it doesn't matter. You can take a quiz, get exact formulations for your hair, and do what is best for your hair needs. One of the best parts about Function of Beauty for me is that you can choose your color and fragrance, This is just something that I personally love. I ended up going with a melon scent. I love a light fresh scent. I also chose this like minty green color. It just felt like a spa to me. That was just my choice. Then Function of Beauty's team determines the perfect blend of ingredients, bottles your formula, and delivers it to you along with fun seasonal stickers and all of the instructions that you could possibly need. Every ingredient Function of Beauty uses is vegan and cruelty-free, and they never use sulfates or parabens. You can also go completely silicone-free. Guys, never buy off the shelf just to be disappointed ever again. Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice, ADVICE, to take your quiz and save 20% on your first order. That applies to their full range of customizable hair, skin, and body products. Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice to let them know that you heard about them from our show and to get 20% off of your order. functionofbeauty.com/advice.
Okay, let's go ahead and get on into the stories. As you guys know, Taryn and I pull up your stories, experiences that you've gone through, and we give you our advice on it. This one is titled, "It feels like I have two minds, one rational one and one irrational one."
Honestly, same.
Yeah, that's a very relatable statement.
Yeah.
Dear Ash and Taryn, she called me Ash.
Oh my God, she knows you.
All my close friends call me Ash. Yeah. I feel like I know you already. So going into the start of this email, the same as everybody else, by saying that I fell in love with your podcast after listening to only a few episodes. I find you two so entertaining and I can't stop laughing when listening to you guys, and the advice you give is so helpful. Also, I've been watching Ashley and Alicia's videos ever since they started making them, and I haven't stopped since. Girl,
love that.
I adore you. I adore you. Okay, so I'll stop myself from going on and on about how much I stan you guys, so let's get into the story. I've been struggling with unwanted thoughts and compulsion since I was little. And to this day, I'm 16 by the way, they still haunt me. I think they might have started when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. However, it didn't bother me as much as the 9-year-old in me thought it was completely normal to think this way. I'll give you an example. I used to have the best birthday parties in primary school. Primary school. She's in Europe, right?
Yeah. Gosh,
Is that what Europe calls?
Everything they say is so much cooler than us.
So much cooler. And I would invite my entire class except for the kids who sat next to me in school because they always used to take up so much space on the desk. Oh, which is funny.
She's like, get out.
She's like, you're not invited. One time my mom and I made little presents for each kid that was coming to my party, and I wrote their names on each of the presents. My mom randomly put them on the table in the backyard, and I immediately got furious and arranged them in alphabetical order. After that, I felt so much better. It used to be just little things like that. I know that it seems normal for anyone to think that way, and as I said, it didn't really bother me when I was little. But now that I'm older, I realize that these compulsions made my childhood a little less enjoyable. Fast forward to 7th grade, and I'm still the happy child that I always used to be. However, that year, I started to make irrational rules for myself that I have to follow, all caps, no matter what. I thought that if I didn't follow these rules, something bad would happen to me. Still, it didn't really bother me that much. Fast forward again to now. Over the last 3 years, the irrational side of my brain has created so many unnecessary rules for myself that it feels like it's taking over my life. It's affecting my schoolwork, my social life, even relationships with my family. Decision making is extremely difficult for me, and I can hardly cope with the change, as I have to make new rules and routines for myself. Another example, earlier this year, I had this rule that I could only clean my room on Sundays. Sometimes Sundays would come around and I wouldn't get to cleaning my room. And this may happen for weeks on end until my room is a complete mess. And the crazy thing is, I hate being in messy rooms and I hate being messy and unorganized, but I just couldn't help it. It feels like the rational and irrational side of my brain is constantly fighting until I can't take it anymore and stop doing whatever I'm doing, lock myself in a dark room, and cry about it. I tried writing a letter to my mom one night when I was having a huge breakdown, and I put it on her desk. But later, before she saw it, I got scared of being judged and that she wouldn't believe me, and I hid the letter in my room. It's still hidden. No one knows about what I've been going through, as I haven't told anyone. I don't have a lot of friends, so it feels like I have no one to talk to about my situation. I really hope one of you choose my email, as I am desperate for a way out of this. By the way, I have a Harry Potter dad joke.
Oh my gosh.
You just became our favorite person.
Tell it to us, Ash.
Hagrid. You're a unit of power, Harry. Harry. I'm a what?
I'm a what?
That's so cute. That's so cute.
Playing on that accent.
Okay, she continues. Okay, I'm ending the letter here as it's already gotten way too long. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Lots of love, Nicole. She put XOXO.
Love that.
Nicole, you're
I have so much to say.
adorable for adding the dad joke. Really appreciate that a lot. I feel like you really understand who me and Taryn are. Mm-hmm. So many things I want to say. So many things I know Taryn wants to say. First of all, I think we should just like put it out there. I think it's good to remember that Taryn and I aren't professionals, and it's important to remember that there are instances where maybe you should, go talk to someone who is qualified. Yeah. Even though we are more than happy to give you our advice, it is not professional in any way.
Not at all.
Just disclaimer, keep that in mind. I am so sorry that you're going through this. And I know a few people who I think have these obsessive compulsive desires in them where they just like have to fix something. I feel like I've struggled with that to a degree. And the only thing I could say that I know is going to help right off the bat is you've got to talk to people about it. Because as of right now, I'm going to assume that you're telling the truth. If you haven't told anyone, then I can't imagine how big that monster must feel to you.
Yeah, I fully agree with Ash. I think that letter needs to come back out and be maybe, either straight given to your mom or rewritten. Like Ash said, we definitely are not qualified to give, our word is law kind of advice. But from just what you're saying, I would definitely pursue checking in, only because I can definitely relate to a lot of what you said. And I also have friends who've described very similar stuff. I think that I have a lot of OCD tendencies, and I'm able to like go through them. And I never got to a point where it was like too controlling. It's more just like these really intense urges that like I have a hard time ignoring, like at Starbucks, like going in the line, if all the cookies next to the register are like out of order, like I have a hard time leaving that alone. So I definitely can relate to certain things. But what I will say, and I think we've said this before, it's professional advice that's given. I use this all the time when I'm talking with my other job. If anything in your life is causing you to not be able to do normal life with ease, and it's affecting more than one area of your life. So for instance, like it's affecting you at school, it's affecting you at home, it's affecting you with your friends, then it is worth getting a professional opinion on. So it sounds like what you're saying is like you're having a really hard time with getting past these rules you've put in place, these like kind of like I don't know how else did she describe them, like, but basically like you said, like compulsions. If that's causing you to not be able to do normal life without being stressed and crying and frustrated, then I think it's worth pursuing to see like, hey, is there any like tools I need in place? Is there any just like advice on how I can get past these? Because it sounds like too, it's just been like increasing in difficulty. So that's not fair to you to have to do that on your own. Yeah. Like there's a lot of things we outgrow, but I think that's a pretty principal thing that like, if it's getting worse and worse, that's something inside of you showing that something needs to change, Yeah.
And I'm rereading it and you're saying you're 16, and I can't imagine that's such like a rough time to be alive, period. You're going through so much, and I couldn't imagine having to deal with this on top of it. So I can only assume, and I've had very close people in my life that have been diagnosed with OCD, and once they got help, it changed everything. And I feel like life might be a lot more enjoyable for you if you just look into it. And I think the first step would be talking to your mom. So that letter that you have, I think Taryn's right. I think it needs to come out, and I think it needs to be given to her, or rewritten and then given to her, or, you know, read to her or something like that. Just so that you have people close to you on the same page as you, and that they are aware of what you're dealing with. And then once you do that, I think you can look into other options for how to live life better with these compulsions.
Yeah. And like, again, we've both said, and I just want to be clear, we're not diagnosing you or anything, but we both have, like I said, me personally, and we have people in our life who have walked through this path, and all we have to go off of is what you've written in. So there just were a few keywords and things that I think that's what triggered both of us to say that. But again, we're not saying that you have this, but I think all of us have like different tendencies. And like I said, because it is impacting you so much, it's worth looking at. And I remember being younger, and I was really struggling with just stuff going on in my life. And I remember being scared too to tell my mom. And I remember I started crying, and I sat down, and I just remember telling her like, Mom, I need help. Like I'm stuck in my head. Like I'm really struggling. Like I think I need to go to counseling. Like, and I remember my mom was kind of like taken back. Like,
yeah,
what's going on? Like, are you good? Like, do we just need to talk? And I remember telling her like, I knew even younger, like I knew it was out of my control. And so, she was very supportive. If your parents aren't supportive, there's so many, you can talk to people at school. If you're involved in a church group, there's lots of things online you could, check out, but I would definitely start with just sitting your mom down. The important thing when you're telling people is to give them a detailed description of what you're going through. So it's not, if you just say like, oh, Mom, like, I'm struggling because like I make these rules and it's frustrating for me. She's not going to understand that. But if you say like, I literally can't function if I don't follow these things, and be more detailed about what's going on, then I think that'll help her to understand it more.
1,000%. And again, getting her on the same page as you, helping her understand what you're going through will be the first step to, I think, a much easier life. Yeah. Which is going to be great since you're 16 and you have so much of it left to live.
You got this.
These are just going to be tools that you can use for the rest of your life, and that'll help make life a lot more easier. And I'm excited to see, I'm excited for you in the future to get those tools in your tool belt and conquer the world with them. So
love that.
Thank you so much for writing that in. I know tons of people.
No, girl,
deal with that too.
So many people are relating. Even me, that's why I shared that. 'Cause I think sometimes like Ash said, like things feel so scary if you don't talk about them. So I know like for me, the more I started talking about stuff and thoughts I used to have or struggles I used to have, and then just me hearing Ash be like, oh, I struggled with that too. Or like just me sharing helps. So you definitely, first step is you need to sit Mom down and talk to her. But like Ash said, you got this, girl. So much life is to come.
Yep.
There are tons of VPN providers out there. You've probably heard of a couple of them, and some of you may have even used a VPN before. But I like to do my research on my sponsors, and I only recommend brands to my listeners that I actually believe in. I can say with full confidence that ExpressVPN is the best VPN on the market, and here's why. First of all, I've already said it, ExpressVPN doesn't log your data. Guys, this is the most important thing. Lots of really cheap and free VPNs make money by selling your data to ad companies. ExpressVPN developed a technology called Trusted Server that makes it impossible for their servers to log in and get any of your information, which is what we need. Second is speed. I've tried lots of VPNs in the past. Many have slowed down my connection, which is not okay, especially during this time when we are all online. The last thing that really sets ExpressVPN apart from other VPNs is how easy it is to use. Guys, I'm not techie in any way, but ExpressVPN, unlike other VPNs, doesn't have you program anything. You just fire up the app and click one button to connect. It's that easy. So protect yourself with the VPN that I use and trust. Use my link, expressvpn.com/advice today and get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/advice. Again, visit expressvpn.com/advice to learn more.
Okay, my story.
Taryn's story.
You're going to know exactly why I picked this story.
I'm so excited.
The title is Help, I'm Pam from The Office.
Oh.
I literally was like,
wow.
Stop everything you're doing.
Doesn't matter what she
I'm
wrote.
in it. And I was hoping, not hoping, because this is a horrible situation to be in, but I was like, I wonder if it's this scenario. And I was right. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Hey, ladies. Hey. I found your podcast recently and I'm still catching up, but love it so far. I love that. Like, she
I love
still
that
has
too.
episodes.
You still have so much more to hear from us. We talk a lot.
We do. You two are so hilarious and give great advice. So I thought I'd write in my own predicament in the hopes that you can help me figure out what to do. I'd like to remain anonymous, but you can call me Pam.
Pam.
I will, Pam.
I love that.
I'll start off with some background. I've been dating my Roy for over 2 years now. Wait, Ash, do you know?
Yes.
Did you watch the whole Office?
Her fiance.
Yeah.
Yes.
But did you watch the whole thing?
I never finished, but I got far. I know who Roy is.
I don't want to like ruin things for you, but okay. For over 2 years now, but my Roy isn't an a-hole like the Roy from the show.
Good.
Even though I'm in my late 20s, Roy is my first real boyfriend, and there have been times when I've honestly thought we might get married someday. I know that Roy has had those thoughts too, and he's even been more explicit about saying to me that he feels like I'm the one. We've been through a lot together, and although things weren't always perfect, we've always been very supportive of each other, and we love each other dearly. However, we recently had to transition to a long-distance relationship because Roy got a job in England, dear Lord, and moved there about 2 months ago. We are still trying our best to talk on the phone every day, and we FaceTime when we can. But it's been a difficult transition so far, especially since we aren't able to get together for the holidays because of COVID. Freaking COVID.
Dang.
As for my Jim, he's a coworker who I've worked with for about a year. I noticed he was cute when I first started at this job, and I developed a bit of a work crush on him. Dude, that is such a common thing.
That is so normal.
The church camp, the work, it's like you always have that one person that you're like, oh.
That you just kind of like click with.
Yeah. I'm pretty bad at reading signals from guys, but I think he might have those feelings too. He knows I'm with Roy though, so obviously neither of us has said anything to each other about our feelings. My problem is I'm starting to feel myself drifting away from Roy and feeling more attracted to Jim. I even daydream about him to the point that I'm worried I'm emotionally cheating on Roy. I also can't help but think about the times that Roy and I have gotten into arguments, and I've wondered if we should break up. Since this is my first real relationship, I don't have any experience to go off of, and therefore I feel like I don't really know how breakups work. I still love Roy and consider him my best friend, so I would be devastated to lose him. However, our long-distance relationship is already difficult, and he'll be there for at least a couple years. Like, that part got me. There isn't much of an end in sight. I also wonder, though, if my lack of experience with relationships and breakups is holding me back, and if my crush on Jim means that I should break up with Roy. I'm also scared that if I broke up with Roy, things with Jim wouldn't work out anyway because office romances are always tricky. Unfortunately, binge watching The Office isn't helping me make my decision.
I'm sure it's not.
So I'm hoping that advice from you two will. Please help me figure out what I'm supposed to do in this situation. Thanks in advance for your advice, and I hope you have a great holiday. Best, Pam.
Wow, Pam.
Oof.
That's tough.
I mean, okay. So see, this one is really hard for me to not have tunnel vision because the second you attached the names Roy and Jim,
you're leaning for Jim.
I automatically am rooting for Jim, but it's not fair. And so I'm trying really hard to give advice fully separate from that, because otherwise, I mean, I am a team Jim in the office for sure. But I think it's good that you clarified that Roy, because the Roy in the office sucked. So it's good that you clarified that that's not the case for your Roy. Okay. Again, this is not a situation me or Ash is going to tell you what you should do, because this is way too big for us to have that control.
Yeah.
I love being the puppeteer, but this is not one I would want on my conscience.
1000%.
So I'm just going to point out things that stuck out to me.
Okay.
And I feel like you'll probably do the same.
Yeah.
One thing is, I do think emotionally cheating on someone is a thing. I think that if you are getting from someone else what you should be getting out of an intimate relationship, I think that is a dangerous thing. I think it's one thing to be like, oh, I enjoy this person, but if like he's controlling your emotional well-being when you're around him, I think that that's a red flag. I also think not everyone is made for long distance, and that's okay. So I don't think that you should even tie Jim into the equation necessarily. The only thing I will say about him being in it is that him as a separate person is making you question if you should be with Roy, which I think is like also something to pay attention to. Because when you're with someone and you're in love with them and they're your person, that doesn't necessarily happen to this extent. You know what I mean? Am I making sense?
Yeah. I think you also just need to be careful. I do think crushes are normal. I think there's a difference between emotional cheating and a crush. So I think first off, you need to sit down with yourself and kind of figure out if you just have a little crush on this guy, which is completely normal and everyone has crushes, or if you are getting some kind of desire out and satisfied with this Jim character. If that's the case, then Taryn's right. I think there's something more serious going on, and you might have to look at your relationship with Roy. I do think there is absolutely nothing bad or anything to be ashamed of with not being able to do long distance. I don't know that I could.
There's no way.
I've only known one couple in my entire life who nailed it, but I honestly don't know how, but it was really hard for them, and they would still to this day not recommend it.
Well, I think what's so tough is like, because my brother did long distance and it was really hard for them, but they were like a 4-hour drive away.
I was going to say, yeah.
I don't think she said where she's from, but I'm assuming like England is far from wherever you are.
England, so I'm assuming that's not the country she lives in.
Yeah. So I think like it's one thing when it's like, I don't know, like, oh yeah, like it's a year, but then 2 years. And then what if there's added time onto that? And then this whole time you've just been waiting for this like end goal. So I think you, like Ash said, I think you definitely need to think about that separate. I think there's a lot of things that seem to be all related, which they kind of are, but you do need to strip aside one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I do think there's attention that's needed for your relationship with Roy, whether you decide to stay with him or not. The fact that you're feeling drawn to another guy is like, we got to figure that out. Is that just because you miss him, or is that because, you know, I definitely think that sometimes we're with the wrong person.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the decision to get married should not be taken lightly, because I think so many times like we rush into things without really looking at all the signs and things that come around a person.
Yeah.
You mentioned, I've been thinking a lot about fights where I thought about breaking up with him. That too could be something. Are you just thinking about it because you're trying to find bad stuff to like kind of like justify where you're at? Or is it things where you're like, no, I really think this is like showing me I'm not supposed to be with this person.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a lot you need to figure out, because also for Jim, like you can't be like, oh yeah, I'm going to break up with Roy, try to get with Jim, but if things don't work out, I'm going back to Roy. Like it can't be one of those. Like it has to be
that's a love triangle.
Yeah. Like find out what your deal is with Roy. Because there is a chance that if you broke up with him and ended up getting with Jim, like that couldn't work out either. So that's why I'm saying, like, don't see him for him, see him as the option of someone outside of your relationship. And is that something you're wanting, or like to dive straight into like really trying to fix what you have with Roy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And long distance is hard. It's so hard. And there's so many things that you have to deal with. And this is one of them, when you just kind of realize like you're lonely and there's someone there. And this is that point, that like fork in the road where you have to decide. You're either in the boat with Roy and you're going to begin avoiding any and all distractions that come your way, or if this Jim guy is sitting more deeply than you expected him to, then maybe it's time to have a chat with Roy. And you know what? You don't even have to make it like a big deal. I think you can start off a conversation very simple and just be like, hey, like, this is getting hard. Is this getting hard for you? Like, I'm noticing myself missing you. I'm noticing myself just like daydreaming about you. Like, I'm not being social. I'm having a hard time. Like, are you experiencing this too? And just kind of get a feel for where he's at, because you never know. Maybe he's in the same boat, or maybe like he's hating this and doesn't think he can do it either. Or maybe you guys can come up with some kind of, you know, code word or, you know, little routine that you guys can set in place for you guys to make this even easier for you, even though it's hard. But I think having some kind of conversation with him, again, it doesn't have to be serious, a big like, do we or don't we? But some kind of conversation with him has to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe you guys take a break while he's gone. I mean, there's lots of options here, but I think you definitely need to strip it down to like just you and Roy. Do not cheat. Like, just don't. Like, I think this is where these situations can get so messy. And so I think that like for his sake and for your sake, like before anything gets too far, like you got to make this decision. So I would definitely put boundaries in with Jim. Like, you shouldn't be alone with him. You shouldn't, because you shouldn't be with any other guy anyways if you're in a relationship. So I would
texting,
really,
I don't know if you're texting.
Like the flirting, try to tone it down. Like really try to figure out where you are with Roy before you continue anything with Jim. I think like nobody can tell you what to do because we're not in that relationship. But I think that you've been with Roy for so long, you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with him. So he deserves that, for you to like really like hone in and see like, is this like salvageable, or is it something that I need to move on? And if you do need to move on, you need to make sure that you really close that chapter with him before you start something.
Shut the door,
else.
lock it, throw away the key, then go.
And who knows, like if you guys do break up and he comes back, you never know what could happen. But there's always the option that like, if you make this decision, then that's it. So it is a big thing to ponder, and I feel for you because that's a heavy thing to be thinking about.
Yeah.
But hopefully we pointed out something that kind of triggered a thought in your mind. Definitely talk to the people in your life, ask them questions. I think it's easy to not tell anybody about stuff when you're ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And I've noticed when I find myself not wanting to tell Ash something, I'm like, girl, you know you're doing something wrong if like you're not wanting to tell your friend. Yeah. And I think that's where the danger comes in of like, oh, well, I don't need to share this. I need, you know what I mean?
That accountability.
Yeah,
that you're scared of.
I know if I was in a relationship and I was having the same thing, I know that I could come to Ash and she'll talk with me about it. But at the end of the day, she'd be like, get it together.
Yeah.
Like,
and this goes for any bad habits, like not just relationship stuff, absolutely anything. The second you tell someone, especially like a close friend or, you know, a confidant or something like that, they're gonna hold you to your word and they're gonna keep an eye on you. So that's why if you're leaning the other way and not really bringing it up that often, it's like, oh, so you don't want to tell them. Why don't you want to tell them?
Yeah. But find someone you love who knows you both and sit and just talk through. Obviously someone you trust, because you want you to be the one that has this conversation with him, not him hearing it from someone else.
Yeah.
But definitely like put everything outside of Roy on hold. Acknowledge the fact that another guy is making you curious and wanting someone else, because I think that
should be acknowledged.
That's a sign that something is broken.
Yes.
But before you even get to that part, you got to focus on Roy to see what's going on there.
Because Roy's a good guy and Roy deserves that.
Yeah. Unless he's not. I was going to say. Like, we don't know what he's doing in England. We need to check up on this fool. Just kidding. But anyways, we definitely are feeling for you. And I think you've got a lot of pondering to do. Yeah. So good luck with it. Give us an update.
Pam. Please. Oh my gosh. I would love to know if it's Roy or if it's Jim.
Love to know.
Curiosity.
Oh gosh. I hate it because I just want to sit and just be like, and then what? And what did he say?
And then what happened? I want to know so much more.
Yeah.
Me and Taryn often have to fight the urge to like ask y'all for your numbers because I just want to call and be like, tell me what's really going on.
Yeah,
did you hide? Was there anything you didn't share in your email? Because we go to bed with these thoughts, guys.
I know.
They affect us deeply.
It's so hard to like take a scenario where you get this tiny little nugget of it and give advice.
Also, the other day, I was talking to a friend and she mentioned, I'm not going to go into detail about everything, but she mentioned something and I was like, oh, I had a friend that went through the exact same thing. And I realized it was one of you guys. It wasn't even a friend.
You guys are
because I sat there for a long time. I was like, who was I talking about this with? Who was it? And then I was like, oh, I think it was a listener who sent in a story.
No, that's so perfect because I really do feel like we have a connection to you guys. And I know like people we've run into are like, I feel like I know you from the podcast. So it's just it's so exciting because like we say all the time, like that was like our main intent. We wanted it to just be this when we first started thing.
That was our goal.
Where we get to just like love people and try to be something positive in this world. So we love that is coming across.
Pam, thanks for writing in.
Yes. Thank you, Pam. Good luck, girl.
Long distance.
But do what's right, okay?
Do what you got to do.
We need to start calling people out for this whole just doing whatever you feel. We got to be held accountable.
It's not okay.
I'm glad that you're thinking about it. That shows you're a good person.
Yes.
And you got this. You got this, girl.
And she reached for our accountability.
Yeah. We'll track you down.
Give us your number.
We'll track him down. Okay. I have a dad joke.
Perf.
Which bear, don't look at my screen.
I didn't look.
Which bear is the most condescending?
Which bear?
Oh my God, this is perfect because freaking Jim always tells Dwight that he doesn't know any facts about bears. He's like, fact. Bears. You know what I'm talking about?
Most panda bear.
Why did you say, you looked at my freaking screen.
I didn't look at it.
Why would you say panda bear?
Because Chloe.
Oh, Chloe is
I was thinking of my dog and she looks like a panda.
Well, it's a panda.
Oh,
get it?
That is good.
How'd you know? You knew without knowing.
I just
proud of you.
Thanks. Is that the first time I've gotten one? No, it's maybe second.
You usually just say like one word and sometimes it has to do with it.
Got it.
Yeah. Nailed it. Guys, thanks. Everyone just, give us some snaps because we recorded 2 episodes today. I'm proud of us.
I'm not going to lie. I hit a wall halfway through this, but we got through it and that's fine. This is what I get for doing too much in one day.
Yep.
Thank you guys for liking this podcast, sharing this podcast, giving it to all your friends, and also for writing in. If you are sitting on a story that you've been wanting to send in for a long time, this is your moment. We're calling you out. It is time to write us an email. Send it to, what's the email address, Taryn?
Actually, I don't know. Was I saying it right? adviceunsolicited@gmail. Advice. Wow. How long have we been doing this podcast, Ash?
Oh, shoot. Unsolicited advice pod.
Wait, right? Really? adviceunsolicitedpod@gmail.com.
You can't, how come I can't see it? What's going on?
Everyone who's confused right now, I really need to clarify this.
Yes. What's the email address, Taryn?
adviceunsolicitedpod@gmail.com.
Send us all the juicy details.
All the juice.
We want to hear all of it. Also,
all of it.
Can we go back to some funny stuff? Like, please send us funny, awkward situations. Yeah. We love that stuff. We love a good laugh.
Love it. Also, I think we've officially decided we want to do an Enneagram episode.
Oh.
So we already have so many people that have sent in Enneagram things, but maybe too, I don't know. We got to figure out what we're doing. But if you have an Enneagram related thing, feel free to send it in.
Would love it.
We freaking love you, and we're going to go chill. So
Going to bed.
have a great day, night, whatever you're listening to, and we love you.
Bye.
Bye.